Alright, so this is just a quick video talking about the changes that they did to Sanby. I'm going to do a run here on the corruption, and I'm just kind of showing. So, for those of you guys who saw, I think the first summoning video I did, I'm pretty sure it should be because I've summoned more, and going to attach those to probably this video and then every video anyway. But anyways, that's besides the point. For you guys who've seen that first video, I show off my score for this. So at that time it was about 46,000 points, and then after the buffs, now I've gone up to 52, which is about a 6,000 point difference. So I mainly just use that to kind of exemplify, what's the word? Just to kind of show the difference between the old buffs and the new buffs. It's not empirical, it's not like a super rigorous test. It's just 46 was after a lot of attempts and trying to really push the limit. That's what I got. And then I was like, okay, now that that's basically, I've squeezed out as much performance as I could get out of that Sanby. The new Sanby dropped, and I was like, okay, let's kind of see what the difference is and see how much stronger it is. So just to kind of show you what you can kind of get at the top end. So yeah, I'm curious how this is going to affect, because this is going to be, it's a lot easier for these changes. Well, let's just go into the changes real quick. Let's go to Sanby. Okay. So the changes aren't super crazy. One of the things that I like about the changes is that they improve her without just bringing numbers up, because it's like, okay, how do we make Sanby better? She's not doing enough damage. Let's just up all her multipliers, all her damage numbers, right? I'm sure that would help, but that's kind of boring. But the other thing is, it's like, okay, they improved her while changing more than just numbers, and then they didn't change her core gameplay style. So if you liked playing Sanby before, you're going to enjoy playing her even more now, right? That's kind of what I got from this. So essentially what the main changes are, when she does let's see if it's on here. I don't know which one of these will say. I think it's Boundary. I don't know. Anyway, to summarize it without having to go into all the reading, she now does, and we'll see this in the, well, let's just go in here and do it in here so we can kind of show it off. Let's go. So now that when she does her 3 dashes and she does her, Thunder Smite or whatever, she now has an extra follow-up attack. So let's go take a look at what that does. That's another thing that changed too. So before, when she threw her her knives, she would just kind of throw them. But now she does that. Come on, she does this, and that pulls enemies together. So she has a little bit more grouping. Leave me alone. So she has a little bit more grouping now, which is a good thing. This is what I was going to show off. So we do 1, 2, 3, and she does that. That's an extra added follow-up attack to once you do the three EX special kind of thunder dashes or whatever. So those are two things that changed. I think other than that, that's pretty much the entire kit changes in terms of on field what's different. A lot of some of the other changes are in the background. So as you can see here, her hands are glowing. You get these glowing hands whenever she does a dodge counter. I don't exactly know what they do. I haven't looked into it. Let's see. The buffs. I know one of the things that they do is that they make it so you can cancel anything into an EX special or whatever, which, whatever. That's fine, I guess. It was already kind of... I'm sure there's other bonuses. It's just that's the one thing I was least interested in. I don't really care what the dodge counter thing does. But the only other change, one other change that's in the background is that her holding her EX special as well as her ult and chain attacks now count as aftershocks, which means they'll gain whatever aftershock bonuses that everything else gets. So that's a pretty good thing, because if they didn't count as aftershocks, the 2-piece of Sanby's Shadow Harmony didn't affect those. But now we get a 15% damage bonus on those, which is pretty good. Not to mention you're also getting bonuses on if you're running Orphe, so that's another good thing. And the one other thing that's interesting, it really pertains a lot to Trigger, and I guess Orphe too. I think Orphe does Aftershock attack. Yeah, she has a lot of Aftershocks. But so if you have Orphe or Trigger, now obviously it kind of works with Pulchra as well, but Pulchra, it's harder to keep her aftershocks up. The fact that Trigger comes in, she does her thing, and then leaves, and she stays on field aftershocking most of the time is what makes this easier. But whenever aftershocks hit, they give her a third of her star mark, so you just build up marks a lot faster. But that's basically everything. The bottom line that I want to stress is that it doesn't really change your gameplay style very much. I made that video talking about Sanby a while ago, and it's all basically the same thing, especially if you're running this team. So I'm going to kind of show you guys that not much has changed. Because you're still going to dodge counter whenever you dodge counter, so whatever benefits you gain from the glowing hands, you know. The grouping, this doesn't really change anything. It changes stuff for Shiyu defense, but, you know, whatever. Oop. Let's restart. I had this perfect. Well, I can show you, I guess I could just do one solid run. But basically the point is it doesn't change a whole lot. Oh, actually, I have to go change, I think I have to change Trigger as well. Well, we'll just do a run anyway. They're 3 minutes long. Ugh. Sorry, my perfectionist mind doesn't let me leave it. Let's try it again. That laser that it does on the floor, it's like the most infuriating thing, because it's very inconsistent in terms of dodging it. And maybe it's just a skill issue, but I really find it annoying to dodge. I messed up the follow-up attack. That's the one thing I keep forgetting to do on this build is leaving enough time for that extra follow-up attack. I just throw out the ult too fast.
My bullets are one with the wind.
A lot of these new skills that she has are very AoE centric. So you just break his legs without even trying a lot of the time, just because a lot of the stuff will just hit no matter what. It's harder to fit in your 3 combos. The Thunder Smite is more important than the follow-up, so no matter what, just try to get those in. So if you miss that extra new follow-up attack, it's not that big a deal. I think I have attack on disc 6 on Trigger right now. If I had impact, I would have gotten this third stun. I don't know if I'm gonna get it though. Yeah, not in time. Oh my gosh. There's nothing more infuriating when they jump like that. Especially because Trigger, prime sniper that she is physically incapable of hitting somebody that goes up 2 to 5 feet in the air. I don't know. But anyway, I'll probably do another run just to show off the... See, I got 4,000. I'm not even trying to target different legs. The last time I did it was... I got all 5,000 points. And I wasn't even... Again, I don't really try to aim for the different legs. I'm just trying to get as much damage in as I can. So 5,000 there. I guess I'll probably do a run here with Trigger. Anyway, the bottom line for this, the point of this video is just to show off that the new Sanby... here we go. The new Sanby is pretty good. Basically, you don't have to change your gameplay style. I'm constantly swapping back between these two. I think I'm just going to leave this on her though, and then leave it like that. But yeah, just to kind of show off that the gameplay doesn't change very much if you're using with Nicole. If you're using like Sanby, Trigger, Orphe, it's probably going to change a lot just because now you're just going to shove in way more Thunder Smites. Like if you see here, there's sometimes I don't pull the Thunder Smite out because I'm waiting for either, what's her name? Nicole to have her EX special up or whatever. There's a lot of damage there I probably could have gotten. This rotation's so far off. Like I'm ulting without the briefcase buff up, which, you know, is a waste of damage. We'll just start over again. You have to kind of like readjust your combos and how much energy you're spending. Like I threw an EX special when I shouldn't have earlier, but whatever, that's fine. There's just like, again, it's one of the reasons I like playing this team. There's just a lot of things you have to keep track of and a lot of things you have to pay attention to. They really just make it a lot of fun. Yeah, see this laser. I press dodge and it doesn't like as soon as it hits, sometimes it's too far away and then it slowly creeps up and you press dodge at the wrong time. That's annoying. But yeah, it's just mainly just a skill issue. It just somehow like the angle of it throws you off and like sometimes the top part of the laser hits you, not the bottom part. I don't know. It's an annoying laser. But yeah, all in all, I mean, I said mainly it's just to show off the score and to show you guys the difference that it makes on this team. Now again, your mileage may vary just because I have an M1 trigger. Oh, that was a waste. That was a waste. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to send it on this just because I can't be asked to. That's another thing now to keep in mind. That you can swap cancel off of that. This is another thing. Because you stun so fast, Nicole's ult wasn't up until the end of that stun rotation. So again, there's just a lot of stuff you have to time properly.
Are one with the wind.
Man, there's just so many numbers everywhere. There you go. So basically, all it adds is now you have to like, not you don't have to, but it's important to now swap cancel whenever she does that extra follow-up attack because you just waste a lot of time doing nothing. Oops. Man, what a waste of time. That was terrible.
Sustaining fire.
That music makes us feel a lot more tense than it actually is. I'm not gonna hit the stun again, which is fine. There we go. Ah, well, I just have to dump it all out here. Again, it's a timing thing. It's better to get the ult out, because I'm already running out of time. But yeah, if I had like optimized it a little more, ideally, obviously, I'd want to have that ult. See, so I had an EX special on Sanby, so again, it's just a timing thing. You really have to get used to it. But anyway, that's kind of the main point. Is it doesn't change a whole lot. Whenever you do the triple dash or whatever, and the little extra added follow-up attack, you can cancel out of that, which just adds more swap canceling, which I think is always a good thing, especially for this team. So all it does, obviously, the buffs were kind of like that 48 around 48 to 49 was what I got the first time I ran it through, just running it the same as before. This 52 is what I got after more trial, more testing, and all that stuff. So once you get those rotations down, you get all your energy kind of where you need it to be. It really does make a pretty big difference in terms of how to play. And again, all it does is increase the skill ceiling a little more because now yeah, you got the right weapon. Now you have to just pay more mind to all that stuff. Especially now with these buffs, I think I'm gonna have to swap her back to this, but not for now. But whenever I get whenever this gets maxed out. Because what I'm really looking for is this energy regen here. When you max this out, she could use this because even pushing. Again, look, I have 2 swing jazz pieces, which is 20%, plus the Moonlight Lullaby was another 20%. This has 50% on the main stat, and I have 50% here. So the point I'm trying to stress is that I have as much energy regen as she can possibly handle on her kit. The only way to get more is to get her weapon that has 50, so I'm matching that, so 50 here and 50 here, but it also has energy regen here, right? So the point being that Sanby has so many chances for quick swapping that now Nicole is bottlenecking me in how much performance I can get, because every time that little follow-up happens, I can swap into her, do that, while she's doing that, and then do the EX special, and just, I don't know, there's just so many chances to throw the bubble out that it's getting ridiculous. So I think, again, like I said, it's a lot of fun learning the rotations, timings, and all that stuff. And I think the buffs are unilaterally just a good thing. Obviously, nobody was complaining about it, but I figured I'd give my 2 cents in there. As I'm not like a I'm not a Sanby main. I'm a Jane main, but Sanby's a close second, and I'm clearly not an expert. There's a lot of people out there who are a lot better with her than I am. But I guess I'll just show off the build here if anyone wants to see. 32. Basically everything's full except for this, which I can kind of go without because I don't really. She doesn't really parry a lot, so it doesn't really matter. Here's my trigger. 81, 131 impact. I didn't swap this. What? I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I try it again? How long is this video? Maybe we should try one more. I don't know. How did I not swap this? Did I have this the first time? I have no idea. I'm not going to go back and do it. The reason why, I guess if anyone wants to know, I mainly run her with this. This is kind of what goes on trigger, right? This will be her main build. However, on this boss, as you could see, there was one more stun window that I could squeeze in. So it's a good thing to have this one on backup for certain bosses, because certain bosses are like, that stun window gets so close that it's better to just bring it forward and then do a full combo rotation during the stun, rather than, I don't know how many stuns I got in that last fight. I think that last one was the 4th stun. So rather than trying to squeeze as much damage into 3 stuns, which most bosses, you can only do that, so most bosses I'm fighting, you only get 3 stuns, so I gotta, whether I run this or this, I'm only getting 3 stuns on most bosses. So it's better to run this to get more damage within that stun window than try to get another stun that's not gonna happen. Because this boss lets me squeeze in one more stun, it's better to go with this and get 4 stuns than to try to squeeze a little more damage out of 3 stuns. So hopefully you guys can understand what I'm saying. What is this? It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so the point being that that's why I'm running this again. I probably should go in there and try this again, but I don't know if I will. Anyway, the point being is, you want, especially, like, this is only if you're running Nicole. Obviously, if you're running her without Nicole, you want her to get as much crit chance as possible to get as close to 90 as possible. But because Nicole is on the team, it helps me run slightly less crit chance. So I'm running 85 because Nicole's 15 that she gives you boosts you up to 99. If I get another crit roll, it's going to put me over 100%, which you don't want because you'd rather have that roll into something better. Now, my stats are not optimized, but it's like finding a piece that's going to run, let's see, like look at this. This has +1, or that's not even +1, but you know what I mean? Like finding another piece. See, I like the attack percent on this, right? The attack and the crit damage, because I'm so close to the crit chance cap that it doesn't really matter. So, anyway, once you get your crit thresholds, everything else needs to go in attack or whatever other stats. And then obviously I have the Mindscape 1, which gives her a 20% damage amplification, plus harmonizing shot triggers more often. And again, the weapon, and that's why I guess I should show off these pieces here. I got lucky with this one. This is really good. And I didn't show off the Sanby stuff, but here you go. I need a way better. This needs to be upgraded. This is pretty decent. Obviously, attack would have been better than defense, but, you know, whatever. 3 crit damage, I'll take it. This one's pretty decent. This one's almost perfect. I mean, it's basically perfect. The only thing that's missing is that this has started off with 3 stats, and I had to roll an extra stat. If this started off with 4 stats, I'd have one more roll to get into one of these, but, you know, still pretty nice. I like this one, 3 crit damage, 2 crit rate. So that's that. Yeah, and then lastly, we're looking at Nicole. I'm running this on Nicole. So this I'm running on Nicole for now because, for one, this out damages this. Like, I can't approach these numbers with this weapon. But once I get more refinements on this, I'm probably going to switch her over to this weapon because, like I said, I need the energy regen, as well as I think this damage percentage will outpace the attack percentage that this gives you, but I'm not sure. That's something for another, like, I'd have to think about it. But the attack percentage from this is pretty good because I don't have any other attack buffs. Like, this only gives out a 18% damage buff. Yeah, damage buff. As well as her thing is only giving out defense shred. And then trigger gives out defense shred, crit damage from this set. Sanby gives out a bunch of crit damage from her passives. So the point being is that this team does not have a lot of attack stat boosts, so running this weapon helps out not saturate that stat. So even at a max refined vault, I'm not entirely sure if it beats out this weapon, but it might at the end of the day. And 12% attack is just a really good buff here. And then, like I said, so here's this. This thing recommends you running an anomaly build on her, but because I can get her so close to a good crit chance basin, she's at 55, plus the 15 she gives herself goes up to 70. With a few more rolls like this one, if I had crit chance on this, do I even have one? Let's see. What's this? Oh, I can swap her out with this. What's this? Oh no, it has fire damage, so I can't. But anyway, if I swap this out, and, I get a crit sub roll, I can get her close to, let's see, this has 2, this has 1. Yeah, this is the only other piece I can get crit rate on. If I can get her like 60, that's 75% crit rate, which isn't bad because not only does this buff affects her, plus this buff also affects her, but also obviously all of Trigger's buffs affect her with the shred and the stun damage multiplier, but also the King of the Summit gives her 30% crit damage. So all in all, I think this is probably the better build for her, is running her on crit, if you can get decent pieces. I got pretty lucky with some of these pieces, so that's kind of what I'm running on her. And then, like I said, the Mindscapes. These don't help out super much. This one makes it so she does, I think, more damage. Yeah, the damage the anomaly build up, but the anomaly build up doesn't really matter again because this is just a straight up damage team. And that gives you more. You don't charge it because it takes too long to charge it all the way, so don't worry about the charging part. This makes it so she spams them out more because she gets more energy, so that's pretty cool. This makes it hits them bigger, so bigger draw distance, and here's the crit chance. Yeah, here's the crit chance buff that she gets. It's ridiculous. 15% is no joke. So yeah, other than that, like I said, just kind of wanted to review the Sanby buffs and how I think she's doing. I think she's fantastic. At this point, I'm just glad they're buffing units. I was talking to somebody in the comments the other day. I don't remember what the name was, but I think out of everybody who needs a buff, I will probably concede. Like, I think, personally, obviously, I think Jane Doe, I think, everybody knows I think Jane Doe needs a buff. But, again, I will concede that Bernice needs a buff, too. I think if you were to ask me, though, the one who needs the buff the most is probably going to be Caesar, and Caesar might get the next buff. Obviously don't quote me on that, but I really do feel like Caesar, we're going to see Caesar get a pretty decent buff soon. Just because, like, nobody benefits from Caesar. At least Jane Doe is doing pretty good because she's got Bernice or Vivian carrying her. Now, obviously, we saw that, like, the whole uproar, everybody's complaining about how the 2-2-2 team with Bernice, Jane Doe, Alice, and Yuzuha. Not to mention, obviously, Yuzuha is a buff for Jane Doe. But the 2-2-2 Alice, Jane Doe, Yuzuha team is apparently the highest damage ceiling in the game right now. So I think Jane Doe is going to be lower on the list. Personally, obviously, like I said, it'd be nice to see Caesar get a buff. I would concede I'd like to see Bernice get a buff before Jane Doe, but I don't use Bernice, so I don't really care. I might pull for Caesar if her buffs make her decent. I don't know. She's a lot of fun to play, but defense units in general are kind of lackluster right now. But yeah, I think she could be pretty good. I just don't really have a reason to use her. Yeah, but I think these are the two main ones, specifically Caesar. So you guys can quote me on that. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens, but I think she's the one who's struggling the most. Everyone else is doing pretty good. Maybe he's kind of iffy, but I think people still like him. She's fallen off kind of a little bit, but I still think she has her niche and she still does good where she does. But other than that, everyone else is pretty solid right now. The only ones that are missing, the only ones that are kind of lagging behind are obviously the like the original 5 stars. But I don't know. I feel like they're not going to get buffs, which I think is it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Like, I think that's just their MO. They're just not going to buff the initial units, but I could be wrong. Out of all the starter 5 stars, I really do feel like they should buff Soldier 11 first if they start buffing the standard banner units, because literally Minato is just power creeping on her so hard. Again, I think the fact that she's a 5-star, her stats outscale him, so I think she's just going to be better no matter what. But the fact that he's like creeping in on her territory is already kind of sad. Like, it's kind of how Piper is basically just almost as good as Jane Doe anyway, you know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, I guess in other news, I'm building Kaleda right now. She's actually kind of fun. I don't have her weapon, so she's going to be stuck using the hot pot, whatever it's called, steam oven. I'm still working on this. I don't know what I'm going to end up with. I might end up with like energy regen here, or some kind of, maybe like a 2-piece, something like putting this here. dropping the impact for that. I don't know, we'll see. Other than that, yeah, like I said, I'll see you guys in the next video.